All right. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I'm Rit Agarwal. I'm New York City's Chief Climate Officer and the Commissioner for the Department of Environmental Protection. We are here to talk today about just that, about protecting our environment, and specifically our waterways, and specifically this one behind us, the Gowanus Canal. When Mayor Adams appointed me a year ago, he made it very clear that I was not tasked with an academic exercise. I'm in this job for one reason, to get stuff done. So today's announcement is an exciting one for me and for all of us in the Gowanus community. And now let me introduce the person whose vision made this possible, Mayor Eric Adams.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that the most significant part of today is our ability to understand how to generate heat in the environment by standing close together. You know, all of this warmth that we're getting from each other. And this is just really a true representation of how government, community, and the environment work together to come to the desired solutions that we're looking for. I know this community so well. As the borough president, we had the opportunity to be in this area and see how not only sewage overflow, but how this community has been impacted. And you cannot have a plan of operation that requires you to cross your fingers after every storm, hoping that you're not devastated and impacted. And Commissioner Donahue, who was over at Prospect Park, we know how important it is to continue to play a major role in improving our environment. That's what this is about today. This groundbreaking is our way of continuing to move forward with the real challenges that we're facing, storm after storm, year after year, and how we come up with effective solutions. And Rit has just been leaning into this in a very thoughtful and thorough manner. We have been doing so many different announcements, from protecting the East River to our build-outs, and how do we just continue to move in the right direction. I just want to thank DEP for their commitment and dedication from administrations after administration after administration. There are men and women who are part of this pursuit and fight that did not start on January 1st, 2022 when I was elected. They were here already, and they were already laying the groundwork so that each administration can continue and we don't have to start from scratch. So I say welcome to the future of our city. Resiliency, sustainability, and beauty, they all go together. You don't have to displace the open spaces, the green spaces, the walkways, enjoying our waterfront just because you have to make it sustainable. And this is an issue that this community has been facing for many years. And it started back in the 1860s. In 1860s, the Tidal Creek was converted into a canal where heavy industries dumped waste and chemicals. It was a thought that no matter what you placed in our waters, there was just such a vast amount of water around the city that you could never pollute it and it could never destroy the internal structures. That was wrong. And we're now really having to deal with the sins of the past is now being passed down to the children of today. Thanks to our neighborhood advocates, some of them you see here, they have pushed hard. And the environmental protection agencies, the waterway was declared a Superfund site, and it is in the process of being cleaned up and remediated. And we're really excited about that. And we're taking the opportunity to build and to add acres of new public spaces and waterfront access for residents. And it's about fixing the environment, but also the beautification that's associated with it. Today, we're breaking ground on the new urban infrastructure that is making it all possible. The first of two massive underground storage tanks that together will prevent up to 12 million gallons of sewer overflow during rainstorms specifically. Sewage overflow has long been a problem in the Gowanus area, and especially during heavy rainfalls. These tanks and the improved drainage and pumping infrastructure around it would keep the Gowanus Canal cleaner and provide more space for recreation and community activities. The first underground tank will occupy a nearly 2 block space from Butler Street to DeGraw Street and will be topped by a new 1.6-acre public open space. You know, it will be featuring a waterfront esplanade with pathway, benches, and new landscaping inspired by the canal's natural industrial paths. The head house, which holds the operating equipment for the tank, will raise the new mechanical and electrical gear above flood level so we won't have to worry about the destructions during heavy rainfall. And they feature rooftop solar panels that will power the new equipment. Reusable energy is how we're going to use this product and make sure it's sustainable. We're protecting vital infrastructure as well as preserving an important part of Brooklyn's history. I want to thank everyone from the EPA to our city agencies, to the dedicated community advocates who worked so long on this essential project, one that's looked back on Brooklyn industrial past and sets the stage for a greener and cleaner future. The project is a powerful statement about our city's adaptability and determination as we move towards securing our future, particularly those who are living around our water bodies. And it's a clear signal that New York City is leading the nation when it comes to sustainability and climate control and climate action. And we're not stopping here in Gowanus. We want to make sure that every waterway in New York City is clean enough so the dolphins will return, as we saw in the Bronx River, to come and swim in. And whenever we have opportunities to bring new public open spaces to communities that are crying out for them, we're going to seize these chances as we combine it with our renewable energy goals. We work to protect New York City from the effects of climate change, clean up our waterways, and create a more livable future for all New York City residents. We should all be proud of this moment, what we have accomplished, all the local electeds, all those who were here even before this administration as they set the foundation. There was a lot of uncertainty between the EPA and government, but we came to the table and we said only 3 letters, GST. Let's get stuff done, and we have gotten it done. Thank you. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Today, of course, we know that it's not just GSD for get stuff done. It's not even just get sustainability done. It's get super fun done today. All right. I'd like to acknowledge Councilmember Lincoln Ressler, who's just joined us, and thank you for being here, and thank you for being such a great partner. And also my colleague Sue Donahue, the Commissioner of the Parks Department, who's a great partner on all of our work, particularly here and with the park across the way. That's a key part of this. Given how cold it is today, I don't want to spend too much time on the details because you can read them all in the press release. But I want to reiterate what the mayor said, that in working together, we were able to agree to an aggressive timeline to get these projects done. Today's announcement is also not just profound for what it means for this Superfund site here at Gowanus, but also for the way we can work together on other projects like the Superfund site at Newtown Creek. There, too, we are working to drastically reduce sewer overflows and clean up a waterway that, in that case, is 3 times the size of the Gowanus Canal. This community doubted DEP for a long time. But I believe this plan and this work that we are starting here today delivers more than people thought we could. The storm sewers and storage tanks together will help mitigate flooding, which we're seeing, of course, with greater frequency, and we're proud to get it started and get it started under the timelines that EPA had requested. And speaking of EPA, I'd like to thank very much our partners here, Lisa, who I'll introduce in a moment, but Walter, Patrick, Christos, Brian, and their entire staff for investing time with us. This kind of collaboration is what it takes to make government work, and it does work when we work at it. I'd also like to thank Congresswoman Velasquez and her staff, and especially Dan Wiley, for her and their tireless advocacy on behalf of the Gowanus Canal. I think Dan is here somewhere. Sorry? Oh, problem. Okay. You know, we know the people of Gowanus were lucky to have such great representation, and the people of Newtown Creek today are lucky to have such a tireless advocate, and you will not be surprised. We have already been talking with her and her team about the Superfund site there. We're also, of course, excited to continue our partnership with Representative Goldman, now that this is his district, and he's been quite vocal about how important it is to him. Above all else, as the mayor said, I have to thank my colleagues at DEP. Anna Barrio, who leads our engineering team altogether, Angela DeLillo, who leads our wastewater treatment team, Ken Moriarty, who's a key leader in engineering, and Kevin Clark, who's really the heart and soul of this project here. And somewhere we have Alicia, who didn't wear a hard hat, but she could, who's done so much work. I mean, you just look at the beautiful designs, the open space here that I think is so responsive to what this community wants and needs. And so much of it is due to your work, Alicia, so thank you. As the mayor said, we are committed to getting this and so many of our projects done. And because we work in partnership, it is one of the things that it takes time. The EPA has worked with us on a monthly basis. We've had monthly check-ins that Lisa Garcia, the regional administrator, and I have jointly chaired. There's been lots and lots of staff coordination between that, and it really has been a wonderful example of when government levels choose to work together, we really produce partnership. And so much of that starts with goodwill and a willingness to put in that time, and nobody demonstrates that kind of dedication, that kind of openness, and that kind of genuine goodwill like Lisa Garcia, the regional administrator for Region 2 from the EPA, a Gowanus local, so she speaks as a representative of the neighborhood as well as a representative of the president, but I'd like to introduce her, our indispensable partner. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor Adams. Thank you, Commissioner Agawala. And of course to Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez and now Congressman Dan Goldman, and everyone here. It's really great to mark this milestone in the cleanup of the Gowanus Canal. It's really great to kick off this kind of milestone of the construction of the combined sewer overflow. We know that a lot of work has been going on, and really this is a vital part of the Superfund project that will be completed to ensure that the canal is cleaned up, and as you can see from the renderings, that the community can really enjoy this area again. The work that we've done on the Gowanus Canal, as mentioned by the mayor and the commissioner, really exemplifies and showcases the partnership between local government, state government, and federal government, and also, of course, the community. It really starts with the community and hopefully will end with the community really enjoying this. So thank you to everyone here who came out in the cold and everyone who's warm but was a part of the advocacy and stayed home. So in March of 2021, EPA ordered the city of New York to construct and operate the 2 combined sewer overflow retention tanks to control contaminated solids discharges at the Gowanus Canal. These tanks are designed to collect pollution that runs from the sewers and streets and to protect the work that we're doing on this cleanup of the canal, the dredging that's already been happening. That, as we mentioned, has been impacting this community for over 150 years. So it's really great to mark this milestone. As I said, the construction of the CSO tank project will really benefit everybody. Recently, I was able to look at these renderings. Everyone should look at them, but it's really inspiring to say that at the very least, when everyone comes together and works together, this canal will get cleaned up and we'll be able to enjoy some of the parks. As mentioned, I do live in the area, so I will be enjoying the walkway and the parks also. And so it is cold, so I just want to wrap up with a few really important thank yous. And Dan, it's so great you just rode into the scene on your bike, because I want to thank Congresswoman Velázquez. del corazón, and Dan, because really yesterday we were kind of chatting, and I was reminded that the advocacy of the community and Congresswoman Velasquez started over 2 decades ago, so over 20 years ago, to really focus in on cleaning up the canal and the dredging. And so that led to EPA listing the site in 2010. And the dredging has begun. Part of it has been completed, and so the work is ongoing. And so really thank you to Congresswoman Velasquez. And of course, more recently, as Commissioner Aguawala said, it's been a great partnership, but I have to say the work of the DEP has really been spearheaded by the leadership of Commissioner Aguawala. So thank you so much, Rit, for all your partnership, for your bold leadership on this, and for really taking the time. It's true, we actually do meet every month to focus on this, so it's really the time and attention to get this work done, to mark where we are here today. And of course, I want to thank the EPA staff here. They're all congregated right there, so just raise your hands. Pat, Christos, Natalie especially, and Brian Carr. Really, they've been working on this for many, many years. And so I was able to join the great team when I was appointed as EPA Regional Administrator. And again, thank you so much to the community, because it really is because of the work that you do day to day, holding our feet to the fire to make sure we get this work done and marked today. So once again, today marks the step in the right direction. As we like to say at EPA, let's turn blight into might, and we want to see that soon. So thank you so much, Mayor, and again, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I would actually also like to acknowledge Councilmember Shahana Hanif. Thank you for joining us. And now I'd like to introduce Andrea Parker, the Executive Director of the Gowanus Canal Conservancy and a key local partner. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here today with so many incredible partners that we've all been on this crazy journey together. This groundbreaking today is really, it's an essential piece of the remediation puzzle. There's many other pieces. We've seen many others go forward and backwards, and we're getting there, but we really are today marking the beginning of the clean canal. And I just want to really just thank everyone for working so hard together to get to this site. I especially want to thank our dedicated city and federal agencies for really coming together towards our shared goals. It's only with the collaboration and the communication between the city and the federal agencies that we're able to get to this place. As thrilled as I am by the tank infrastructure, I'm just as excited about the investment that the city is making in new waterfront public space. The Gowanus neighborhood is severely lacking in parks and green space and has long been disconnected from the canal itself. The community fought really hard to make sure that planning for the tanks included real commitments to both preserving Thomas Green Park right there, the one large park that we have, as well as providing more public space in the neighborhood. Both tank projects will include substantial public parks that will really be keystones for the emerging 20-acre network of parks and public space centered on the canal. That's really going to be a place of respite, recreation, and gathering for the larger community. I want to particularly put a shout out to the DEP staff, specifically Alicia West, to developing a robust public engagement process for the mid-canal salt lot site. And the renderings right there really show how the design team and the agencies have developed a process through which they listened to the character and the use of the site as it is and really integrated that into what is a very complex infrastructure project. The salt lot's incredibly important to us as an organization. It's where we have engaged thousands of volunteers and students over the past 15 years in environmental education, biodiverse horticulture, street tree pruning. And I'm very thankful to see that these new designs include spaces for those activities, really spaces for the community to be empowered as stewards of the larger neighborhood and watershed. I do want to note that this is not the end of our advocacy for a more resilient canal and neighborhood. And again, I'm so thankful to be standing with so many amazing community partners that we're going to keep on pushing on our agencies and our elected officials to get this right. The impacts of climate change in particular on rainfall and groundwater are here, and they're going to increase. So we're really grateful that the Army Corps is planning for long-term federal investment in resiliency across the city. But we want to make sure that our federal agencies are coordinating with our city agencies, just as we're seeing here today, on long-term planning that is site-specific and that really addresses the very unique challenges that we have. So I am very hopeful today, and I'm very thankful for all of you, and look forward to working together towards long-term shared goals and plans for a resilient neighborhood, and that's both Gowanus, Red Hook, and the larger watershed. Thank you.
Answer a few on topics.
Mr. Mayor, what's the cost breakdown for this project? How much are the feds kicking in? How much is the city kicking in? Is this money that's already allocated?
Sure. So there's as you know, a project like this is massively complicated. There's the cleanup of the canal itself, the in-canal work, is shared between the leading pollutants, most of whom the successor entity is National Grid, and the city will, excuse me, the city will pay a portion of that. The city is covering the full cost of the 2 CSO tanks. The Red Hook tank over here is around $329 million, and I'm sorry, actually, how much is the total is 1.6. And the total is 1.6 for the entire project combined. Thank you. So I don't remember how much is the Owlhead tank directly? Owlhead total is about 500. So yeah, so it's about 500, 1.6 total, with the biggest single project being the 329 that we're just breaking ground on today.
Can we hear from some local residents? I'm assuming the 2 ladies on the end about this project.
Yes, you can. When we finish, you could interview them, but I want to get out of the cold.
That was good.
Go stand with Kevin. I got a good one. I was close. I got a good one. Give us one right here, man. Right here.
Wonderful.
Mike, this is Julie, another partner at the office.
Let's do a few off topics. Yes. Okay, hold on. Grab my staff. Tommy, go. Come on, we're going to do a few off topics. Bernadette, what's happening?
Mayor's got polls.
Huh?
So I have a question. So the Post did a story earlier this week about ICE's backlog for immigration appointments, and the backlog right now is through 2032. So I'm wondering, that's about a 10-year difference. You just unleashed your new blueprint for the migrant crisis. I'm wondering, are you worried that because individuals still have to be in New York to get their appointments, does that offset your plan to either move them to other cities or other states? And does that kind of institutionalize the continued strain on the city's budget?
And yes, and our goal is that we realize that in addition to calling for the federal government to do a decompression strategy, we have to do our own decompression strategy, and that's moving the asylum seekers and migrants throughout the state and throughout the country. And our team is doing that using faith-based institutions, as well as reaching out to our local government officials who are open to taking migrant asylum seekers. The biggest impediment to moving people is their inability to work. It's mind-boggling that the federal government is stating, take a person and for 6 months, a minimum, they can't work. That you are responsible for taking care of their health, their food, their education. That is a strain on our city, and we know we have to take upon this decompression strategy on our own.
Does that 10-year backlog make that hard to do?
So yesterday the legislature passed their budget, or not passed, but they put out the budget resolutions. Didn't include 421A renewal that you were looking for, that you spoke about on Monday, or the office to residential conversions. What's your reaction to that? And what does that say about the negotiations going forward?
Process, and I've been in Albany. I understand this process. The Assembly, they put out their one House bill. The Senate, they put out their one House bill. The governor proposed her budget. Now it's about going to the tables. There's going to be table conversations. The governor and the lawmakers are going to engage in a conversation. They're going to come to a point where they're going to get a budget signed. And so this is part of the process where each house will, they list their priorities. And so we're looking forward to the next level of this. It is not done until it is done.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Wanted to ask you about the new contract for the new borough jail, which is actually right around here. The contract issued by your administration has a completion date of 2029. How will the city be able to close Rikers by the 2027 deadline if that jail is not open? Where are all the inmates?
Well, first, we said it over and over again, and I'm going to continue to state we're going to follow the law. The plan was flawed, but we're going to follow the law. And because something is not completely finished does not mean that you can't occupy inmates. We're going to follow the law. The law states 2027. That is the law we're going to follow.
You're going to be able to house inmates there even though it's not complete?
We're going to follow the law.
I didn't hear her first question.
Okay.
But, sorry, because I was on the other side. Can you come back to me?
Okay. Thank you.